Okay. Hello Twitch and YouTube. So today I'm going to be starting with a Let's Play Factorio in the new expansion, which is Space Age. As you can probably see from the main menu here, I have played Factorio before. The last day I was actually playing was an attempt to do There Is No Spoon Run, which is complete the base game, the original game, in 8 hours. And stuff got in the way when I was about 5 hours into it. So I never actually did complete that, but I was on track to do it based on my own understanding. But today we're not doing the base game, we're doing Space Age. I'm not going to run my default, I'm going to run Rail World, which is, to be fair, pretty similar to default, except on the starting world. And the other thing it changes is it turns off enemy expansion, so the enemies won't be re-expanding once we drive them out of areas. Let's take a look at the map preview. That might be doable. So we've got, that's probably our starting iron, copper, stone, and coal there, all decently set up. Maybe a little bit farther away from the water where I would want it. But I think I can work with that. And that should be workable. So I'm not even gonna reroll the map, I think that's good enough. And based on our starting area, okay, we got some biters on the west, pretty close in. We actually got quite a bit of expansion on the east here. And a couple of these biters we could clear out and have pretty good access to the oil, so I think this will be a good start. So we'll go ahead and start this map. I believe the map seed was visible if you wanted to make use of the same seed in your own game. Do it differently, because I can totally imagine you wanting to do it differently. See which bits of scrap actually have stuff in it. Might not take the time to pack it all up right now. We will probably leave the... Well, I tend to leave the spaceship itself as sort of a monument of where the game started. Oh, I forgot to well, I haven't unpinned the achievements I was working towards. Completed getting on track with the pro, but I haven't done There Is No Spoon, which is what the second one up in the top left is. Grabbed a nice coal rock, which will be useful for getting the start off quickly. And there's another one in the iron field here. So like most games of Factorio, the game starts off with us in effectively what is referred to by a lot of players as the burner phase. Which is where you need to make use of burner drills to go ahead and mine up the material while you're trying to get started. You have pollution turned on? I do. Okay. So I've hit tab. Or hit map, I should be able to see where the pollution is. We're waiting for that drill to make stuff. Let's try to clear our fields of debris, our mining fields of debris. So that when we come to set these up in high density fashion later on, they're easy and accessible. This also gives us something to do, well, it gives me something to do. We're waiting for that one miner and one drill to generate the iron plates that we'll need to really get going. 19 plates. Gonna want another 9. The next thing I want to build. The next thing I want to build is I want to set up a place where I can just do a run by and grab coal to fuel the miners, the burner miners that I'm going to be setting up. Okay, that should be enough. We have two different coal fields here. A little bit more of a luxury than I was hoping for. Quickly mine up one coal by hand. Get the miners started. So because I've got coal over here, I'm going to use one coal patch, because we've got two patches of coal. I'm going to use one coal patch for smelting and one coal patch for power. What is taken away here? Craft 50 steel plates. Okay. Get steam power. So we've completed that. Electronics apparently is going to want some copper to be mined. Not necessarily think we're going to rush to doing right away. Instead, I'm actually going to go ahead and make two more iron ore miners. So we can get iron ore mining faster. Back to chopping out more trees. Probably getting pretty close to where I've got the trees down that I need for a nice clearance around these, but more will not hurt. Don't need to mine the stone. Got enough hand stone at the moment from clearing the rocks that get in the way. The other purpose of chopping down all these trees so early on in the run is to generate the wood that I'm going to use for most of my early power poles. Okay, so that's going to need a bit of clearing. We'll really dig into it for power, but not in a complete rush for that. Okay, got a decent amount of iron for crafting things. So do that set. Then we'll want one offshore pump, two underground. Don't have quite enough for a boiler. But we can get the copper going while we're waiting for more iron to be made. This is one of the reasons I'm not going to hand mine any stone, because there's some pretty big rocks here that are going don't want to be cleared anyway, and the easiest way to clear them sort of productively is to mine them for their stone value. So there is our electronics researched. To develop this, we just need to actually build ourselves a lab. How's the pollution looking? Tolerable? Reserves, we had biter bases mostly on our west, so we can already see one of them. There's a pretty big space off to the east, so I'm not going to be super worried about the expansion eastward with the pollution. We need to be giving myself appraised of it, so we don't have it run too far west. Okay, where to put it? Yeah, there will work. And then we'll do a boiler. In a way, I tend to do my steam engines, mainly for maneuverability around them later. So it may not be necessarily optimal from a material standpoint, but it's optimal from a managing the boiler standpoint. Ah, that might be a different problem. So normally, if you were playing the base game, you would have access to the electric miner now. But we're not playing the base game. So we don't have access to the base miner yet. Or the electric miner yet. We're still stuck on burner miners. So I will have to take a abrupt turn to actually develop the research lab earlier than I had planned. My initial plan had actually been to probably route cooldown, so I didn't have to worry about my electrical grid running out of power. But that has to wait. That has to wait until we invent the electric miner, because I was going to power it with the power that it generates. Is that the miner? That's the miner. Okay, so we need 25 red research to get the miner working. Get miner research. $25. And there we've got an achievement that everyone who's probably played the base game prior to the expansion doesn't have, but probably should have, because it was an achievement added with the expansion that everyone kind of does in normal course of play, which is generate power of the steam engine. right now I'm running back and forth, collecting resources so that none of our stuff backs up, hopefully. And apparently needing to remind myself to fuel these things whenever possible. This is one reason why a lot of people do not like to stay for extended periods of time in the burner phase. Because it can be... Well, you could probably do it with burners. Everything with the burners. It can be a little bit tedious trying to manage the fuel stockpiles. And the burners only mine the area right underneath them. If they were like the electrics and mined one out on all sides, then I might imagine more people would be willing to stay in the burner phase longer. Because at least then you can sort of route your fuel in and out of the space between them. You space them out. But as it is, you'd end up leaving fuel behind. Well, end up leaving minerals behind if you started mining very heavily with the burner miners, because of the requirement to get fuel in and materials out, minerals out. What I'm going to want after that? I'm probably going to want automation after that. Yeah, so that's another 10 red signs. Should be enough of those trees shot up to the coal. And we'll have to clear more of these trees out. Which, to be fair, I'll start doing when we're waiting. For boilers at some point, but right now, enough cleared out for what we immediately want to do, which is the basic, very early coal steam power. Coal off, all the miners. Pick up the copper. Early on, I probably only need one coal drill to meet the power requirements. So, electric mining drill, go. Begin researching my automated tech. And then we're going to be spending a lot of our personal construction power on build and transport belts, please. Oh, I might need to build a bunch of power cables too. Don't quite have enough power cables to go to where I want to go. How far does this thing go down? To there, okay. I'm gonna run like that for the first one. There we go. So with that, some minor adjustments, I should have reliable power. Do I want to do research next? Yeah, splitters and undergrounds are probably going to be next. That is another 20 red. And then once we have that, we can probably get started properly on building all the industry. Which at first will pretty much be making science again. Well, making science at scale. Red science at scale. So we can crank out the rest of the... Well, actually, it'll probably be bullets, then red science at scale. And then we'll figure out what goes on from there. So the coals come down here, so that's good. Want to grab one assembly machine, and then we will build, in my own queue, we'll build the red science packs. And then I probably want another one of you, and another two of you, and then we can probably automate setting up the red. Very small automation of red here. Be manually fed, but manually fed is better than not fed. Do another round and robin off of the burner equipment. Well, it may very well be the last time I grab off the burner equipment. Well, no, there'll probably be one more time. I doubt I have enough iron, for example, to build all the stuff I need. I may have enough to get automated basic and fed research going, but what's the power looking like? Plenty. If everything's running, we're consuming about a third of our potential power. Oh, I need one more. Those of you who have keen eye will probably have seen what I just screwed up. Well, seen it earlier, but probably just realized that I forgot. I've wanted it in the lab. I need to put an inserter to put it in the lab. Otherwise, it's not going to go very far. $15 items aside. Our furnaces will consume, let's say, one every 3 seconds. I think that's a multiple of 8 or something. Memory serves. 5 times 3, 15, 16? Yeah, probably 16. 16 aside. We start right about here. Oh, do I want to half belt it? That's a question. Yeah, let's half belt it. In which case it's 8 aside. No, 8. 8 total? 8 total. Let's try 8 total. We can always expand it later. And as I predicted, I do not have enough of everything. And what I will need to run power over here as well. Anyone's watching, know the coal, well, the furnaces don't run off of power, but I'll need inserters to take things in and out of them. And at least the out will probably be best done by electricity. And if you're running the out by electricity, you might as well run the in by electricity as well. Okay, there's my logistics. The next one I will probably want is gun turrets. So we'll start going on gun turrets. I will need a splitter and an underground. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna plumb this. So we'll have coal coming along, and we'll have iron, obviously will cross the coal belt. Fill right to left, probably, in the field. And we'll do the opposite on the coal field. Okay, gun turrets completed. When the time comes for the gun turrets, we'll be very happy for that. I'll do military as well, and then we'll probably leave off on doing more technology until we've got proper continual power going, proper continual production going. More transport belts. Which is why we need more iron, which means we need more everything. The standard cycle in Factorio. You never have enough of anything. If you do, that means you're probably not building what you need to be building. And or you're not necessarily building as fast as you could be. This feels small. I'm probably doing a math error somewhere. I may, between parts, I may double check my math. It's either, yeah, I think that's probably like half of how big it can be. Which is easy enough fix to fix when it comes time to. I just need to make sure that I leave space, otherwise the base will turn into spaghetti, and we'd prefer the base not being spaghetti quite so soon. Okay, there's the coal coming in. Fuel the furnaces, that when we get the iron ore in, we'll be smelting us some iron ore. So yeah, the rest of these, we will probably want radar at some point. In fact, I know I will want radar bad enough that I'm actually going to queue radar up, because that will help me identify where the biters will be being affected by my pollution. The biters, in theory, won't be settling, because we're on a rail world, but I know that after a couple hours of playing the game, I will not have memorized where all the biters will be, so I will inevitably forget where they are, at least partially. Set up another miner. We've got plenty of copper, but that will be something that gets automated as well at some point. Yeah, regardless of whether or not I've got enough furnaces set up, I'm definitely in a state where I have enough furnaces set up for my measly amount of miners. I've got 2 miners set up, so maybe I shouldn't be too worried about it being the incorrect ratio. Because, well, everything's the incorrect ratio right now. I'm gonna run slightly longer episodes of Factorio than I did of the other content. So I'm gonna try running 50 to 60-minute episodes, rather than the 30 to 40 I was running before. We're in the more iron means more miners equals more iron phase of Factorio Expansion. I'm gonna go that in. That's gonna be the row. And we got iron coming in. Iron coming in equals iron going out. Slowly start what effectively will be a mall. Not that we necessarily need a very big one right now. And the first thing to come off, because it's the first thing we're going to need some of, is bullets for turrets. We'll probably run 2 assembly plants worth of bullets to start with. And we'll get loaded into 1 wooden box. Yeah, I have a suspicion I will need to extend this, which may make this mean I need to move all of what I just built, but I'll double check between episodes. Won't be too much of a hardship to move what effectively is the ammo production. First wave of ammo production. One thing I will need to grab very early, well, not necessarily grab, but do, is I'm going to have to build more power poles, because I'm already out of power poles again. Movement speed 1. It's almost 1 every 32 seconds. I've got 15 throughput. So 13 or 15 times 3.12. So 45 plus 3, 48. So it's actually 24. That's per side? No, that's the full belt. Okay, so 12. So I can go up to 12. I've got 48. 48, so 12 aside. So I've got a third of my capacity there. Okay. That's why it's looking small, because it is small. Trying to mental math Factorio numbers sometimes can... Maybe it's not a good thing to do on stream, but it's like I'm looking at it, it's like, that looks way too small. The answer is, it is. It is way too small. Your mind is not playing tricks on you. Okay, how is power looking? Time for a power expansion. Let's do a full doubling while I'm thinking about it. Two undergrounds, one boiler, another two steam engines. So, assuming they haven't changed the math, and I don't think they have, one boiler can provide enough steam for two steam engines. So I tend to make arrays that at the beginning look a lot like this to provide my electrical power, where I have one offshore pump providing water for as many steam boilers as I need. This will at some point get evolved as I start to add renewables in, where I'll put steam buffer tanks out the back and double the number of boilers on these. So these end up only running, in the long run, only end up running during the night. The boilers will run day around. Okay, I'm gonna need some gun turrets at some point for safety. Oh, we need more copper as well. So those went all in, that went all in on the turrets. Let's grab some coal to fuel the mines. And then now that I've done the mental math, I'm not going to wait till the episode break, because we've got another 15 or so minutes towards it. But I'm going to start swapping this over to being a 12 long unit instead of a 4 long unit, which basically means I need to triple the number of furnaces it's got. Two, 4, 6, 8. Yes, okay, so that's the right length. This is sort of my ad hoc way of keeping it working while also moving it all. So that's one of the scenarios where if you're got the numbers to start right from the start, you don't need to do this sort of futzing around with your base. Oh, and we need a bunch of inserters. This all gets a lot easier once you've got production and everything running, but I don't. So also, if you got blueprints, having robots do this would probably help as well, but I don't have blueprints, so I'm kind of doing it this way. Get my lane balancer set back up again. And if I add you down here, we do want you down there. Do something with that. We'll only run at least a 2-lane bus. And we go down a little bit more. Guess we screwed up the math and have to shift it all down again. And that, we should be able to properly reset this back up. I'm going to need more inserters. So we'll queue some of those up while we're laying down the power poles. And now that is actually roughly what I was thinking about when I... That looks a bit more right-sized. Now, if you're wondering why I put such a gap, and to be fair, the gap probably isn't big enough. Why I put a gap between the furnaces and my lane balancing splitters is so that I can run inputs to various belt spaces in this space here. Because having space for when you have to spaghetti later is always useful. Now I'm building a very similar output to what we just did before, but this time it's going to be for copper. And unlike the iron one, this one is probably going to be, for quite a while, excessive to needs. Because it's basically just going to be fueling science, the bits that go into science. Oop, I'm out of belt again. Always need more belt. Apparently you need more iron drills. As you can see, now that we've got the furnace set up large enough to actually consume at belt speed, we don't have enough iron to fill the belt. And in this case, it's half belt speed, right? So the furnace stack will consume about a half a belt of iron, the way I have it set up. If I did my math anywhere near right. At some point I can come back along and upgrade it to steel furnaces, which will double the output and upgrade it to a whole belt, but then because we're only running half a yellow belt down the middle, the belt will have to be upgraded to support that, which right about that time can be done by just upgrading to red belts. And I need a bunch of inserters. And we'll also need to belt down copper at some point. And we look at the map. If I didn't know that there was no buyers over here off the east side, I'd be a little bit worried. But I remember from the map review that we shouldn't have any buyers over there. Okay, I need both more iron and more copper. And I need to start setting up some copper mining. Thinking that I should probably, just like I've done here, set up copper ore. Mine from the bottom of the field where it doesn't touch the iron first. This will be a bit of a weird field because of it, but I think we'll be able to work with it. To go out and around the iron field. I'd rather chop a tree down than do a really short underground like that. Whoop, and I'm out of more transport belt. Yeah, I am realizing a potential problem. Let's see if we can fix this potential problem before it becomes a problem. That is, I need a little bit more space to do my turn for my underground belt. This is where the underground belt is actually for, to go there. You can already see, even before I've really gotten that deep into it, the tendency to accidentally engage in spaghetti to make things plumbed up. Okay, so this setup, even though grossly underutilized, is in theory going to start making copper. What am I short? Oh, I'm short on iron. Because we're always short on iron. Granted, I'm probably not that short on iron because I've got the whole iron set up. I'm just not picking it up. Well, I don't necessarily need, but I'm going to use 3 more splitters. Okay, and it is incredibly unlikely that I'm going to need a proper full 4-lane bus, but I'm going to set it up as if I'm planning on having one. Upload bottom output? Yeah, probably. But based on the time, this is where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put the cut for the video. So this is my Factorio stream 1. I'm going to go ahead and put a YouTube cut in here. So I've been watching on YouTube. I hope you've been enjoying it. Feel free to drop in tomorrow if you're watching on Twitch. Feel free to hang around. I'm going to quickly stretch and then get back to playing. So if you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. Catch you all later.